just to see what it would cost to get a couple key areas, not the whole road, but just a couple key areas so we saw less reflective cracks over that 5-10 years before we get something else done. So, and we can change that later. I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up where we are.
Chase?
Cole passes grade 1 water treatment this week.
Good.
And Jacob's working on getting his grade 3 for wastewater. We had a water main break on Spring last week. Took us a couple days, but it's all fixed and replaced about 20 feet of pipe. Been working, get power ran for the drop it, and it's just got delivered today, and power got hooked up. They just got to do some programming tomorrow for it. And then we just been working on the sidewalk between Alice Place and the trail, so it's kind of what we'll be doing the next couple weeks. So
When you took out that 20 feet, what did that pipe look like?
it was, the one end was new plastic, and it tied into older ductile, and in between there was a junk piece of pipe, and a tree root grew over it and just broke it. So we just ended up cutting it all out. So
Is that where every intersection has broke now on that line? Like in the last,
well, this one isn't tied to the dead end of Spring. So,
Okay.
but yeah, the other Hunter Brock I think broke last year, 2 years ago. So
and right at Mount Pleasant, it broke right in the middle
Yep.
of winter.
So Mount Pleasant all the way up to where we were is all old line, and then going east and west would be all new, is where it starts. So
Chase, is this where it went from 6 to 2 to 6?
yep.
You want to mention that real quick?
Yeah. So it was 6-inch line, plastic line, and then it went to 2-inch plastic line, and then it went back to 6-inch ductile pipe. So we eliminated the 2-inch plastic line and just put new 6-inch plastic in there. So
We have no idea why that was done, but it makes no sense.
Oh, my goodness.
Have you ever done any kind of pressure test on that line to see if there's something going on there that's,
we haven't, but I know whenever it was 2 years ago when they were in all night, when they were down on Mount Pleasant, they were just, when they're cutting into line, they said it was just, the ductile line was thin, like it was just corroding away, so to say. So that's all I got.
Thank you.
Yep.
Jesse?
Just reminder, school started this week, so no parking. There's restrictions up there in front of the elementary school, fire lane, and then just watch the speed. We've been up there the last 3 days, helping out with as much as we can. And then tomorrow, I'm going to walk through, myself and Mr. Crooks walked through there last week through Alice Place. We wrote up a bunch of things that they needed to get fixed, so I got another walkthrough tomorrow to see if they got everything fixed for them to open up.
Kelly, anything?
We do have a coffee and conversation event on the September 4th at the trailhead, so we will probably just gonna set up a tent and a table and get coffee from somewhere local,
That's at 8 o'clock, right?
8 to 10. It's in the chamber newsletter, and pushed it back out to the media again, and I think Brad posted it on social media again.
All right, thank you. Angie, anything from? No. Okay, nothing from Brad. We'll go on. Council members, let's go through, start with John this time. I don't usually do that.
Well, I do have a couple things. A neighbor had asked me to see if we could get a stop sign put out at the railroad tracks over on Sunset. That's the intersection where that tractor was hit. I see absolutely no harm in getting a stop sign put out there, and I see benefit from it. So I don't know what we gotta do to get that done. I brought it up to Greg. Greg was gonna do some research on it. You do any of that, Greg?
Yeah, I
Not this week, I didn't with the
You've been
grant,
busy.
but I will get that information out to council as soon as possible.
We did fill out a grant for that just recently for crossings. The railroad reached out, so that was a good candidate for a grant for coverage for crossings. We haven't heard anything back, but
Awesome. That's good news. And the second thing I got is, I'm gonna announce tonight that I'm not gonna run for council this time. I truly like this job, but I need to take a couple years off to get some stuff done. If there's an opening next time, maybe I'll come back, but I'm not gonna be running this time.
Thank you. Andy?
Just what we were talking about earlier, I think a couple of us are going to go to the Burlington Fire Association dinner at Hy-Vee tomorrow at 1:30 PM. If any staff wants to join us, I think Ringo and I and the mayor are going, and I don't know, Therese?
Yeah, they said you were buying, so I'm going.
Only yours.
That's all right.
That's all.
Okay, thank you. Ringo?
Yeah, I want to, Chase, I was out there when the guys were putting the fence up for the dog days at the park, and it was hot that day, and I was mowing the lawn with her, but those guys had a good sense of humor, joking, everything, as hot as it was, just incredible, the staff that's out there doing that, and still being good humor, because it was grueling. On the swimming pool, I want to congratulate and thankful for our lifeguards at our swimming pool. You saw the email that was sent out by Greg, and I just so happened to talk to Officer Latron that afternoon and ask him how his day went, and then he told me what happened at the swimming pool, and I think that's just, that our staff is just incredible, and I'd like to, it'd been nice to have those people come in so we can, actually recognize them, because that's going beyond the call, even though that's what they're there for. I don't think most people expect that they're going to have to do that. I just like to recognize them in person too. If that can be arranged, that'd be great. So, and I had a question for the chief. I forgot to ask him earlier. But we have any new applications at all then for?
That's going out September 2nd for the January academy. So
For the two positions still?
Yep, for the two positions.
That's been open for
2 years.
Yeah.
The dog days was great, but my dog is still mad that we left.
Therese?
I want to thank Keegan Jones for passing out that flyer for the scooter safety program, and I know you're going to talk to him in the second week at the middle schoolers, because I've almost had 3 new hood ornaments on my car, not being my fault. They just weave and they don't realize the traffic, and none of them have helmets at all. So I want to thank you for, Keegan, for getting that.
Yep.
And having a little meeting with the school to help corral some of those issues. And I want to say that was a good turnout for the doggy splash. I mean, I've never heard so much laughter, and the dogs are running, and the hot dogs and the Ohana ice was awesome. So it's a good thing. It saves on our pool from all the dog hair in our filters, and it provides them some fun. I didn't see you there, John.
I wasn't there.
Oh.
Your eyesight's pretty good.
Melanie?
Just 2 things. One, Touch a Truck event looked like it went well, just the little time I spent there. Nice weather and a good turnout, and good job, Jesse, for all you do to make it happen. Thank you. And then the second thing, as I pointed out to Chase, we need sidewalks. Just today I was out and we had a guy pushing a woman in a wheelchair over there by American, right next to the brand-new sidewalk. They were so ready to be on it, but they couldn't. But they had come over Highway 31 bridge, and wherever they needed to go, that they had to be in the street. So if we question the need for sidewalks, you don't have to look too far to see people who have to walk in the street. So sometimes it seems like they may be a waste or excess, but we do have people who rely on safe transportation with their 2 feet and self-propelled vehicles, and we can provide those safe avenues by putting in trails and sidewalks. So thanks, Chase, and can't wait to get it done. That's all I got.
Thank you. I've had a little discussion with Mayor Billups about getting started with our action committee, And I believe we have a meeting date set up now. Greg was getting those out to us, and I think that's set. So our thought was we want to not let this thing languish, and once we have momentum, get forward with that. So that'll be coming up here pretty soon. I also, every time I come into City Hall, I want to thank everybody that works here. I'm always impressed by the amount of things that are getting done and things that are moving forward. So since John had made mention that he wasn't coming back, I thought, well, I'll make mention that I certainly appreciate you, John, and also the staff that works here. So thank you. With that, we have no old business. I believe that some citizens are here about information or presenting information to the council on things that are part of our new business. And because we have a larger than normal group, I think it would be best if we have our citizens come up and give us that information before we start into our new business. That way the council then, when we go to discuss, can use that information as part of the things that they're doing when we discuss the items. So rather than just having people wait here for the whole thing, they can either tell what they want to and stay or leave if they'd like to. My only request is that if you want to talk about one of the items that's on our new business agenda, that when you come up here to the microphone, please state your name and your address where you live, so that that goes out to the people who are watching online. So, do I have anybody here who would like to discuss one of the items on our agenda? Sure, come on up. Sure, no problem.
My name is Barbara Bechtel, and I live at 707 West Burlington Avenue, and I've lived there for 30 years. And I understand that they're wanting to rezone that for commercial. It's zoned residential right now. And I object to this proposal to rezone it because this would be it would really affect my life and the quality of my life, having a business right next door that's could be open 24 hours. And I believe that rezoning that would also decrease my property value. So all I want is, to have a neighborhood where the people are, concerned about the yards and stuff like that, or a business, especially a business like they're talking about, a storage unit thing. Mm-hmm. There's not going to be anybody responsible for picking up trash and this and that, people are going to come and go at any time, and that's not going to make me feel safe there anymore. And it will affect the quality of my life a great deal. I have no objections to more houses or a business that would close at a reasonable hour, like an office or something like that. But to have something that could be potentially open 24 hours or accessible to people for that, I just wouldn't feel comfortable with that. So I'm asking that it not be rezoned. And Dry Creek Road, now that has several businesses on it, so I think that's where it should stop, the commercial part of it. I mean, I've been there 30 years and I just, I don't have any problem with, houses being built there, or like I said, businesses that would close at a reasonable time. But I don't think it would be, a good quality of life for me to be worried about people coming and going at all hours of the night, and possibly the noise too. So I would like you to consider that I wouldn't be comfortable, wouldn't feel safe in there anymore. And I'd just like to have it, whatever all the citizens of West Burlington have is a comfortable and safe neighborhood. And I don't think that would make it safe for me having something there 24 hours, not knowing, who belongs there and who doesn't. So I'd appreciate it if you'd consider it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Barb.
Anyone else discussing about items on our current agenda? If not, then we'll go into our new business.
I think there's some people from Abate here, but is that what you're talking about too?
Yeah, because anything that was on here, the 7 items that we have, if they want to talk on any of those, I'd have them come up and talk. That way you have the information to, for your discussion here, rather than just directing questions at them.
That's kind of different than what we used to do.
I know,
usually
but I
do.
also have a much larger
Yeah.
group than normal too, so.
Well, I'd like to leave that open also.
Well,
to
you're
them
certainly
to-
willing to ask a question of them if you want, so. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah. I just thought if they wanted to make a statement that would help out or not help out, whichever they want, so. Anyway, with that, I'll go ahead and move on to our first item. We're considering a donation of a baseball field lights from the West Burlington schools to the West Burlington Little League to be installed at Community Park.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion on this item? I know we've talked about it at different times.
I see Jeff Housel's
Yeah, do you
here.
wanna-
Does he want to comment? or-
Sure.
Yeah, I know most everybody up here at the table and met them and been involved. Mr. Teeter's the one that hired me to work in the school district 20 years ago. So Jeff Housel, 605 Park Place, West Burlington, and involved with the Little League for the last 8 years. And it's a volunteer organization, and it's been a great organization to be a part of. It's grown from the 90s, numbers in the 90s, to over 250 kids this past year. We've included T-ball. And so we've grown, and so when the opportunity came that the school got new lights, we thought, what a great purpose to be able to share those with the Little League. And so we've asked for permission to do that. We've got volunteer work for the electrical lined up. We've worked with Alliant in terms of setting the poles and work on that. And with that, since it is a volunteer project, we're kind of on their timeline with all that. So I said fall or spring, the goal would be to have them in place for next summer. The season's May and June, and lights are typically on an hour and a half a night. I talked with Nate what the cost was. Now, he got Nate Prickett as our maintenance director at the school, and he said it was about $3.26 an hour, $3.26 an hour to off residential rates. So he didn't know what the city's rates would be at that field. So it might be a little bit higher than that, but still minimal cost to turn the lights on and give our kids an opportunity. Like there were some age levels that had 4 teams, and so they played the majority of their games on the road because a lot of the schools we play against, or towns we play against, have lights. Denmark, New London, and Burlington all have lights. Danville and us are the ones that don't. So give our kids more of an opportunity. We've ran concessions out of the concession stand, and that's been able to help pay our umpires and also pay for the pool party at the end of the year for the kids. It's been enjoyable. So it's been a nice, we see nice growth with the league, and this would be a good opportunity to repurpose. And we also did get donated lights from Mediapolis School District when they're building their new preschool up there, and so then they had no purpose for those lights, and they built a new softball field. So we have the lights to be able to light both fields, and the nice thing is Chase has offered to help us store those at the treatment plant there in the meantime when we try to get everything lined up. So the goal is for the Little League is in a good position to pay for all the materials, and if all the labor is going to be donated, we should be able to accomplish that on our own without any extra help or extra fundraising. So,
Jeff, I just had one question. Who's going to be in charge of getting them on and off? And then will we have copies if that's you folks doing it? Will we have the ability to do that as well?
yeah, I think we'd try to coordinate with the city because with that, you may get people that want to actually then rent the field outside that Little League season. But yeah, the responsibility would be whoever is the director. We are forming a formal board. It's been a checking count and volunteers previously, so we're going to try to be more formal with that, and we'll have a process that we'll check out with the city, you know, and have that response. But similar to the concession stand, we check out a key to whoever's leading that at that time, so, yeah.
Well, I think it's an awesome idea. So I heard about this a year ago and I'm glad to see it happening. So, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, same thing. Thanks for your leadership to pull this together and making the Little League a better program in West Burlington. It's the kind of things that make our community fun and better,
Yeah.
so thank you.
Thank you, yeah, it's been rewarding.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A motion and a second for the donation of the lights from West Burlington Schools to the West Burlington Little League to be installed at Community Park. All, do I need,
Mayor, you might want to add Mediapolis's donation to that, because he said some of the lights were donated from
sure,
Mediapolis.
we could, I guess we could do that. I don't need a roll call on this, I don't believe, so all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll go to item number 7, which is now number 2, which is considering the support for the development of a U.S. Highway 61 corridor public engagement plan and preliminary assessment.
Thank you. I'm here representing the Greater Burlington Partnership. Our Economic Development Division has been working with Snyder and Associates to give us a proposal to redo the Highway 61 corridor between Mason Road and Sunnyside. And Melanie, as you talked about earlier, the importance of sidewalks. It's going to be a big project, and it's important for our entire community on how this corridor looks and feels to visitors and those using it as a state highway to go through. In order to get on the DOT's radar, we need to get a pre-engineering plan put together, and so I believe you all got a copy of this proposal. The total cost is $50,000, and our Highway 61 Coalition Committee is putting up $10,000. Grow Greater Burlington is putting up $10,000. Des Moines County is putting up $10,000. And we're here tonight to ask if West Burlington would contribute $5,000 toward the cost of this study so that we can proceed. We have a pretty aggressive plan to try and hold our first public meeting on September 30th, and Snyder and Associates would help us with that.
Thanks.
Actually, I need to have a motion for us to continue discussion. Motion and second.
So moved.
Second? Second. Okay, thank you. Questions from the council that you want to direct?
One, Amy, I see in the assessment overview, it lists the parties that'll be part of it, the City of Burlington, Des Moines County. If West Burlington contributes this, will we be listed as one of the parties contributing to it? Okay.
Absolutely.
City of
And
West Burlington.
As a part of all of our collaborative efforts, that's why we want to have that, we want to have West Burlington in there.
Gotcha. And does that mean we'd have a seat at a table with designing or input?
We would be inviting the residents of West Burlington in for the public meetings.
Okay.
We'll invite the entire community in for these public meetings. The first one, we are looking at September 30th, where Snyder and Associates would receive a lot of feedback from our residents on ideas for the corridor. And then in November, they would come back and present 3 options for us. And so obviously you all would be made aware of all of these meetings and times when they would be happening. And it would also be a part of that saying that all of our communities and counties are supporting this initiative.
Do I understand, like, this corridor design would be things like signs that say West Burlington, half mile that way, and a
I think it's going
sidewalk
to be more,
exit.
I think they're going to redesign the road, because the medians are really wide in some places, and we don't have sidewalks, we have frontage roads, and it would be difficult to do away with the frontage roads, so they're probably going to stay, but we may need to reduce the width of the medians in some places, and then some beautification efforts, but it'll increase the safety for pedestrians to walk. As I'm sure you've all noticed, we've gotten a lot more pedestrians going down Roosevelt, and so it would be an entire project, and it won't all be funded by the Department of Transportation, but this study will give us the opportunity to go out and raise the funds through the resources, grants, the DOT, and cities as they have funds available to contribute to the project.
Thank you.
We can't do anything until we have a document that says, here's what it should look like, and this is how much we think it's going to cost.
Gotcha. So this is the time for like West Burlington to have that input. So we're not, I'm concerned with this, I want a sidewalk that gets me from Burlington to West Burlington, from 61 to West Burlington on Mount Pleasant and Agency and even Kirkwood, that mess thing up there.
But the input would still be, we would still have that input because of Des Moines County, we're part of the county.
True.
They're not saying that you wouldn't have that. And I think the question Melanie asked you, I think the answer was really a no. When I read this, it says it's comprised of Burlington, Des Moines County, U.S. Coalition, the Greater Burlington, West Burlington won't be in.
No, we would ask, as we move this forward with Snyder and Associates, we would ask that West Burlington be specifically named in there.
I have a problem with it because, where do we stop doing Burlington roads? Do we start doing Cascade Bridge? Do we start doing other things? It's always been West Burlington does West Burlington, Burlington does Burlington, and I just can't see doing this with funding. And I think this is just the first stage of it. When you do the study, then you're going to get into the cost of it, and then you're going to want us to participate in the cost too. I'm sure of that,
Yeah, I can't speak to that part yet.
So then, well.
But I mean, the highway, it's a state highway that does service our entire area.
Sure it does, and so does the rest of Roosevelt, and so does, 34. But it's usually the city's responsibility within the cities. So.
Any other comments?
Amy, if you could just help make the case, if I had to tell my neighbor, here's why we voted to do this and pay to help study this road that's in Burlington, how does that help my neighbor?
Well, I feel like that in order for us to move this project forward and to get on the DOT agenda, I mean, it's a 5-year plan. And so the study will help us be able to go to the commission in December to say, here's what we would like to have, in order for them to consider it down the road, and then to be able to research the grant opportunities that would be available for this project. And our Highway 61 corridor services our entire area. And so it was just a way for West Burlington to be a part of contributing to share in the cost of what's going to improve our entire area.
I haven't been involved in the project until, well, same time as council. But Roosevelt is a major northwest thoroughfare through our community as a whole, connecting 3, arguably 4 major east-west road connections: Mount Pleasant, Agency, Division, and West, if you want to include West. But and any other potential connectors that we could get for our public to connect over to that commercial corridor, I think would be strong as well. But to me, that's the basic argument. Whether you buy it or not is the question, but to me, I see, that's where I see the benefit, is the connectivity between that area and West Burlington.
Okay. No other discussion? And I would call for a vote. Kelly? I was going to have a roll call vote on that.
Johnson?
Nay.
Please?
No.
Young?
Aye.
Covert?
Aye.
Crowner?
No.
Motion fails. We'll move on to our resolutions. We have a second reading of an ordinance creating a new city code section to regulate noise control. I have a motion to approve the second reading.
Motion?
Okay.
Second.
Second. Discussion from council.
Well,
I'd like to motion to make an amendment on that, to amend and bring in the first part of John's part that changes the muffler section to the state code.
Okay. Do you have a copy of that or reading of that?
well,
It's in the packet.
Okay.
Is it K that you're referring to, Andy, on page 4?
Yeah, yep, just that one. The sound made by a motor vehicle or a recreational vehicle whose exhaust system is defective per state code.
I'd like to also change the radio from 200 decibels. I didn't realize how much 200 decibels was, and that's a lot, okay? So I'd like to change that to 90. And I think 90 is a decibel where it won't be annoying, but yet you can hear it with your helmets on and with the wind and the radio. And this is still during daytime hours, right? Or is this all the time? You know, if that was during like daytime hours, I would even add that.
Yeah, it does not.
Sounds not loud.
You know, if like from 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, you know, those type of hours.
You want to add that?
Yeah.
8
'Cause
o'clock PM till 10, what?
8 o'clock AM to 9 o'clock PM. That way we're not waking up, or, you know, if it wasn't a hindrance, you know, it's still the daylight times.
Clarification, would that revert to, what would it revert to during the daytime hours?
That's what I just said. Oh,
You're saying 90 during the day and 70 at night? Is that what
yeah,
you're saying?
it can go back to 70 at night if that's a problem with, we're talking about people being up and, you know, when it's dark and we're going to bed, revert it back to 70, but it's the daytime when people are riding the bikes that, you know, it needs to be so we can hear it with our helmet and our radios and, or,
So if I understand, John, what you want is during the day, the motorcycles to be up to 90 decibels during our daylight hours, and then nighttime hours revert back to the 70 decibels
Yeah.
like everything else. And nighttime, I'm going to say 10 PM to 7 AM because that's what we're using, those hours are what we're using in every other clause on here. If I,
7 to 10 instead of 8 to 9.
10 PM to 7 AM is night, and 7 AM
You do
to 10
8
PM
at
is
night?
daytime.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
Yeah,
standardize it.
yeah.
That's everything else we're doing these hours.
Why 8 at night?
Because like right now, I would be out to Lake Geo, and I'd be coming back at 8 o'clock at night, not 7 o'clock at night.
No,
10
7.
PM
10
to 7
PM.
AM would be the night. You're moving the other way.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm saying that the time that it would be the bigger decimals. If you're saying 10 to 7 is quiet time, that's great.
That's what.
Okay, that's
what
great.
everyone was
Okay.
saying.
That's great.
And you're saying from 7 AM to 10 PM, it'd be 90 then?
Yeah, yeah. Basically what I was trying to say, yeah, yeah.
My only concern is that EPA regulations regarding exhaust have a maximum 80 decimal level, per my limited research. And they've compared that to the noise level for, or the volume, the radio volume. Let's see here. While that does not directly regulate radio volume, it does indicate the upper range of noise considered acceptable for the vehicle itself. So, to me, I think it would be in conflict with federal law.
But 80
I'll
would
see
be
what would be.
within the EPA range then.
Correct.
I think no problem with 80 during that time frame.
Would you amend your motion to 80?
For the radios? If that's what it's gonna take to pass, but I sure wish it was 90.
I know it doesn't sound like a huge difference, but it's 10 times more than what we're talking right now.
Yeah, and it's louder than what we're letting industrial, commercial things be. I mean, they're topped out at 75,
Yeah.
so,
And that was what I was saying about, 80 because of the wind and the radio, and you're coming into town, you got the radio blaring on loud enough to hear it while you're traveling down the road.
Don't people have headsets in their helmets for radios and stuff like that?
Some people do, most of us don't. I don't, I don't
We're
have.
hard of hearing anyway. Love you, John. I'm just saying. And then, how are our officers going to handle this? Because they're not sitting on the road waiting for motorcycles to drive by and measure that. So how will this be effective in maintaining this ordinance and writing tickets?
The intent for this is for residential areas of people working in their garages after 10 PM with their motorcycles. There has always been laws in the state of Iowa about excessive acceleration. So we can charge people with excessive acceleration, which they, if they leave a stop sign or a red light and just gun it and it blares at the, loud, we would write them a citation for excessive acceleration. We're not going to be able to monitor people riding on motorcycles. Typically, most of them, when they come into towns, they turn their music down, and then when they go back out on the highways, they turn it back up. We're not going to have issues with motorcycles or cars going down the roads during the daytime. It's just, we're trying to get something on the books, so we have something for residential areas, people out mowing after 10 o'clock, people working on their race cars after 10 o'clock, people playing loud music after 10 PM. That's our intention is. I'm not worried about the motorcycles going up and down the street. If there's one motorcycle or 100. We assist Abate every year with their hospice ride. There's never going to be an issue with that. Our issue is loud noise, working out, parties, those kind of things.
So what you're saying is 90 is the mute discussion.
Yes.
So it's okay to pass, it's okay to do that then, if it's mute. That's not what, it's,
I think we need to stay within the regulations of federal and state law about mufflers and that kind of stuff, modifications, those kind of things are, allowed to a point. There are federal rules and regulations in reference to that. We're not, we're not picking on anybody. We just wanted to clarify some holes that we've had over the years with noise ordinance.
I think
we
you're simply talking about officer discretion while they're out traveling the roadways. That's really what it comes down to.
And just, I talked to Officer Chip Rose, he was an officer in Burlington, we all know, for 23 years, and they have a noise ordinance there. He said in 23 years, he thinks he maybe wrote 5 citations, and that was after the persons they asked repeatedly to quiet down. And then they were sort of forced to actually issue the citation, But it's just customary to ask the person first if to turn the music down, turn the volume down, turn off the engine. And I don't think he said he ever stopped anybody on a motorcycle in 23 years during a day about excessive noise or anything like that.
Well, and I like hearing that, and I like hearing what the chief says, but I think in Muscatine, they tried passing something like this, and they wrote like 125 tickets for motorcycles up there, okay, on a noise ordinance. And, it's who's in charge when they're in charge, and
John, how many places would people really be doing this? I mean, well, they might be on Highway 34, which runs through my backyard, and I can't think of any other place where you would be doing enough speed through the city that you would need to have your volume up that loud, right?
It's coming into town, it's going out of town, or it's on the freeway coming in, you take the off-ramp in, you're going to be in town when you turn the radio down, is what I'm saying. So, and if that's not the issue, then what's the harm of leaving it at 90? Because that's not the intent here to do it. So it's kind of a mute thing of saying whether it's 80 or 90.
Exactly, it's a moot point. Let's go with 80, if it's a moot point. And then we match the other ones.
I'll change mine to 80.
Second.
Okay, I'd like to have a vote on these changes that we put in place. One on Andy's, which goes, uses state code.
I need a second on mine.
Second on that.
All right. And I have to do them in reverse order, so I have to do John's first. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. And then on Andy's, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. We've made those 2 changes. Now, I still have before me the second reading.
Mayor, can you read what the changes were so that we make sure we get that straight?
Your Honor, I would suggest you not waive the third reading tonight and let us bring back it in writing in front of you.
That would be
You
better.
can make sure that it's what you intended.
That'll just be
Yeah,
next week.
But just so that we have it in our notes, can you read that back to me, what the change is? The change will be,
Andy's.
Okay.
on
I've got it
yours.
up if you'd like me to.
Yes, please.
So I'll read Johnny's first.
All right.
Well, I think you need to change under motorcycles, it says, the sound emitted by an automobile or truck radio, tape deck, or
Right.
compact disc player, or other such standard equipment used. It doesn't mention
Motorcycle.
motorcycles
Yeah.
after that. It's just kind of copied from the top, but then changed the decibels to 200.
So
to 90, or 80.
If you go to John's, the other ordinance that John had, that John proposed on
Page 4,
item
Page 3,
3.
B,
E,
BC, yeah.
yes. You just take out the 200 and put in 80.
and then fix that first sentence.
Yeah.
And you said fix the first
Fix the first
sentence, so it
sentence,
just applies to motorcycle radios.
Just say the sound emitted by a radio tape deck.
There you go.
We're just going from 10 PM to 10 AM,
10 to 7.
10 to 10 PM to 7 AM.
Mm-hmm. So it fits with the others.
And the other one was the exhaust.
Because that was item K.
That just scratches out or has been modified by the installation of a muffler cutout or bypass. Uses exhaust system as defective per state code.
Just exactly as it's proposed in the, yeah.
Yep.
Exactly as it's proposed here.
Yeah.
We need to do a vote on the First Amendment, separate from the Second Amendment. A roll call vote.
Okay, First Amendment was the exhaust system that was proposed by Andy and second by
Melanie.
Melanie. Okay. So we'll do a roll call on that one.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Bovert,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Okay, that amendment passes. Go to the Second Amendment, which was proposed by John and seconded by,
I did.
I think you did too, yeah, Andy. And that one, yeah, roll call on that one.
Young,
Aye.
Bovert,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Motion carries on that. All right, so we're back to our original motion, which is for the second reading of the ordinance with the amendments in place at this time.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I'll support that.
Okay. All in favor? Oh, roll call.
Bovert,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young.
Aye.
Now, do you want to wait until we have a written copy
Yeah.
a week from now?
Motion to table till next week.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
just another week.
Motion,
yeah.
table, support. Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, that motion is effective, so we can move on to item number 4, which is disposal of property at 111, excuse me, 1010?
11, 10.
11. I can't,
1110.
unfortunately. Yeah, 1110, Mount Pleasant Street. So discussion, Greg, you want to
Sure.
go into that?
Thank you, Your Honor. We received no bids on the date required for receipt of bids for placement of a home on that property, or acquisition and placement of a home on that property. At the bottom of that page, I just simply added 2 options for council on how to proceed. We've discussed 2 numbers, the assessed value that's currently listed there, and the purchase price. I can simply begin negotiations and bring that back to council, or we can, at a future meeting, hold a closed session and discuss the terms and conditions that you, or parameters that you'd like to set. Or you can move forward in a different fashion, or rebid it. I mean, certainly can do that as well.
We're still thinking we keep the southwest parcel, but none of the east parcel.
You say that again?
We'll keep the entire southwest parcel, but none of the east, even
On the
moving
corner?
forward. Right.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
Greg, did we receive any type of feedback from any people regarding this section of land and,
I had one basic question, and that was if they could simply put an accessory use on it and not a home at this time.
okay,
Or accessory building, excuse me.
okay.
Do we feel the need to sell it right now? Is there an urge to sell it for, we have nobody that was interested in it?
Simply dispose of it and put it back on the tax rolls, I mean.
Well, Kelly had sent out
There was there was nobody interested in build a house on it. There is people interested in buying it.
Can they build just an accessory building on the lot?
Not unless it's combined with an adjacent property.
Kind of like Kelly's idea of putting a prison house there.
You mean the houses built by the prisoners, like the one on West Burlington Avenue, is what you meant.
So is that something that we would apply through a state grant to do? Because isn't that how?
Regional planning is who we work with on the other one.
Okay.
I mean, if your goal is to increase the housing
Yeah.
stock.
Yeah, the reason we're looking at is like, we've just been mowing this strip of land for many years, and can we get more houses in town? Can we get somebody to buy it, put a house on it? It was kind of why this came to us. And I think when bids required you folks to bid a minimum of $5,000, and we got nobody at that. And we did, that was like, okay, let's get started. This was our first shot at this, is get city property that we're not gonna use back on the tax rolls. So we put it at 5,000. Would it make a difference if we reduce that down to some lower number? Would that help somebody wanna buy it? And two, if we change the requirements of how fast they have to act? Because I believe when we put it out for bid, you had to begin building within 6 months.
Completion within 18 months.
So, okay, so I'm sorry, I don't remember. Start within 6 months, complete in 18 months. Would it matter if we say, hey, get it down to, we'll take bids lower than 5,000 and allow you up to a year to start buildings and have 24 months from that date? You just open the window up.
You could certainly try it, and there's no harm in trying it. I received no questions
Regarding, okay.
regarding the property, It's hard to say if that's gonna, if $5,000 is really gonna make a difference on it, or 24 months instead of 18 months. I can't tell you. We received 0 questions.
Zero inquiry, okay.
Other than the one regarding accessory buildings. I mean, you don't have to decide tonight, but we did talk about negotiating it, but you could certainly wait until after the next assessment is done. You could, we could be one of the programs that we work on with regional planning, whether it be a prison home or whether it be a new home with the Housing Trust Fund and LMI dollars. I mean, there's any number of ways that you can proceed. You don't have to make a decision unless you're looking to get it off the tax rolls. Then I would suggest that this route.
Actually getting it on the tax rolls and off the city's,
Correct.
just mowing it.
Yes. Well, John.
I guess I'd like us to consider putting it out for bid at a lower cost and more loosen the parameters and see if we get anything. If we get nothing, then let's get more aggressive on, do we want a house on there? And if not, let's get it sold to the property owners. I just don't see right now we just mow it, right? We don't benefit from it. There's no trail, there's no park.
So if I may ask, I see a property owner here.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
he has something to say about it. Would you want to, yeah,
Yes.
Oh, sure.
I mean, a next to property owner.
Oh, okay, cool. I don't know who you are. Thank you.
My name's Kent Chris. I'm at 114 North Gear Avenue.
Could you repeat that again? Here.
Yep. My name is Kent Chris, 114 North Gear Avenue. I also own 118 North Gear Avenue. And I did respond to how that packet was wrote, because the requirements was commas and it ended in or. And to me, that was saying either do this, or that. And so I did respond to the questions, but unfortunately, the email that was in the packet is a generic email or doesn't work or something. So once I found out that a residential home had to be built, I didn't care if it was $50. I wasn't going to put a $200,000 house on a 70-foot lot, 700 and some feet long, at a T intersection by Deary Brothers. So pretty much anybody that ground is hard to come by, and being a property owner adjacent to that or what have you, I would be interested in purchasing that. But to be required to build a brand new home is something different. And so my accessory building question was at the end of the requirements of or a use, of residential use or a human use. Sorry, lungs are messed up. I was actually thinking about putting like at the front where the little circle thing is,
Okay.
the circle drive, doing like a a vegetable stand. And if it had to have a building on there, I could do a vegetable stand and just rent that out for whether it be sweet corn, potatoes, pumpkins, and people could sell their goods there. And then the backside of it could still be used as property, residential property, or even just whatever they wanted to keep back their wagons or come to council and have that separated to go to 118 and 114, and in the front go to that that use, but not have a house on it, is basically what my point was. But so that's pretty much about it. And I know that man, he'd be interested too. So the thing is putting that kind of money into a home, but you have a great idea. If you can get someone, if you get it to where a house is built on that and then sell it at that, I won't get the ground, but I can't say that is a terrible idea. That could be a possibility also, but as far as a homeowner with that ground there, people are interested in it. But I don't see someone being interested in it, as far as I'm speaking for me, to have to build a new home there. Even a one-bedroom is going to cost some money with foundation and utilities and stuff like that. And you wouldn't be able to put it way back off of that, because then you're doing sewer and electric off of Mount Pleasant Street. And just that would be quite expensive before you even get a foundation in for those utilities. But that's pretty much what it was. But I did respond to that because I needed that cleared up on whether it was required to do a residential home. But thank you for your time.
Thank you, yeah, thanks for coming.
I like Melanie's idea of investigating another prison home like we did on West Burlington Avenue, or if there was some other program. I think if somebody else isn't willing to build on it right now today, that'd be a good thing to investigate, because that one's worked pretty well for us, I feel, over there on that lot. And then if that's not a possibility, because I think last time we talked about that's like a 3-year out deal at this point, due to demand, but if that's not possible, then I'm okay going ahead and selling it. But I wouldn't mind taking one more crack at open it up a little bit at the same time we investigate whether or not we can do one of those other home programs.
I like it too.
Okay.
I'd like to say something, but I need to go out there and say it. And I think I will.
All right.
John Johnson, 1206 West Mount Pleasant Street. So I own the ground next to it, and the lot that I have and the lot that the city has, they're really too small to build a regular house. But since I own the one, and if I had the second one, it would be a place that a person could build a really nice house, not a small, tiny home, but a nice home. I can't sit here and tell you that I would build that home, but I do know someone that may be coming back here to live, and he has shown interest in that. If I had acquired that, but I can't sit here and tell you that today. I can't sit here and tell you that tomorrow. It makes a lot of sense to have, even if I didn't build it, it makes a lot of sense to have the two lots joined for future development even if I didn't, because if you look at the map that you guys got shown there, the property next to it, they did join the two lots. And that makes it that much wider and easier to build. So that's I guess if you take the restrictions off, you got two gentlemen that has property right next to it that would like to buy it, so. Thank you.
Since this is just a discussion, Greg, I'd like you to bring something back next council meeting about what you think we can do to go with Melanie's idea.
Probably not next week.
Oh, it is next
You're
week,
gone.
isn't it?
Okay.
And, but I'll talk to Mike, because he's who I've been working with on the Iowa State Housing Assessment Grant, and we've also been talking about all of those different concepts, using the LMI proceeds, the rehab, the purchase, rolling those dollars over. So talk to Mike and see if we can't put a presentation or some information for council.
Can our first step be where we just resend this out for bids and loosen up the requirements, reduce the bid price, and don't require construction to begin within 6
I think
months?
I'd rather wait and see what we can do with regional housing
See what they have?
before I put it out for bid again. I'd rather wait and see what we can do if we can put a prison home there, a pre-built fab home.
I agree, I just don't want to be waiting on that answer for 4 months, 5 months, if we can get an answer in the next 3 weeks or so, let's do that.
Like to see if Mike can be here, I'll try to coordinate with him. I think he'd be probably the best person to have with us here tonight.
Works.
Thank you. We have the item number 5, which is consider the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation for rezoning 4 parcels in the Van Wees Estates, second subdivision from R4 multifamily residential to B2 general business. And I believe their memo said that they were not recommending it.
Your Honor, I would like to bring out that Barb Bechtel is, we call her a distant relative, and I would not feel appropriate to vote in that situation. I'd like
Okay.
to step aside,
All right,
please.
thank you.
I know we don't have a motion, I'd like to ask a question if you'd allow it.
Go right ahead.
The discussion was on storage units, and I thought under current code, you could not have storage units on a B2.
It's not really it's not like mini storage. What they had proposed, and I haven't seen actual drawings, this is just what they'd talked to the building inspector about, was they call them like construction condos where they have a small office area.
Okay,
and
a flex
Popular
space,
concept that
yeah.
we've talked
Flex
about,
space.
that's got
Okay.
the garage, the office space, that would fit clearly within a B2.
Okay.
Now, just, council can accept or planning and zoning's recommendation, or they can do something different as well. I mean, the area is suited for B2. My understanding in talking to folks is that house was originally in the old town or old district. It was moved out there by one of the adjacent property owners. But there are things you can do if you want to consider rezoning. And with that type of activity, you could berm, you could require solid fencing, you could require trees. There's things that you can do to mitigate those issues that were mentioned earlier. something to consider if you want to move forward with this rezoning. But
Well, if I just might say something, reading the minutes that I got, I had no idea what was gonna be built there. And it would have been helpful to know that ahead of time, like it was gonna.
I don't have the actual plans for it, I just had that discussion, but if you rezone it to B2, anything that's allowed in a B2 could go there. So I didn't want to limit it to just one item, because you do open the door for anything that's in that district to be allowed.
Well, that may be, but if you read this, it's kind of like a generalization. There's no topic about what the person wanted to build there. And apparently, she's the only house there because we have an apartment complex. We got the dog thing down at the end. We've got the sex place across the street, and then we've got other stuff. And I can understand her concern about the amount of traffic and flow. And she's the only house there. I can understand her concerns about traffic, and if we're talking about that space between the apartment complex and her house, that field, that's the area we're talking about. I wouldn't want a lot of traffic going in and there. We have enough traffic on West Burlington Avenue as it is. I don't know how they even get in and out of their driveway some days. I mean, I would side with Ms. Bechtel.
I have no motion at this point, so I would entertain a motion of some sort so that we can move forward with this, or if you wish to think about it longer, we can table it.
Well, I make a motion that we follow the recommendation from the planning and zoning and deny it.
support.
Second.
Suppose, have support.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion from the council members that can vote? No. Melanie, anything?
No,
Okay,
not right now.
all right. Well, in that case, call for a, do I need to have a voice vote on this one? No, I need a, voice vote's fine, right?
Yeah.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And Ringo's abstaining.
Abstaining, yes. Motion carries.
No, nay for me.
Oh, nay for you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you didn't ask.
Well,
but I
I'm
just thought I'd
wondering,
point
what
that out.
what are we voting?
We're voting for
I made a
the,
motion to
to
deny the.
deny the.
Deny.
Yeah.
yes.
We're accepting the recommendation of the
Yes.
planning and
Right.
zoning. That's what I am.
That's a no, a deny.
I'm
So are you
accepting
still
their.
wanting to vote no, which would be to not accept the recommendation?
I'm sorry, aye.
Okay. I thought you were, that's why.
I thought I was. Okay.
All right, so we have,
So how'd that turn out?
that turned out that we voted with the zoning commission
Yes.
and it denied that.
Okay.
We have one item left to discuss, which is the support, no, excuse me, discussing the swimming pool funding. So I turn that over to Greg.
I was just going to mention what we have, but this is Councilmember, yes, Cofert's agenda item. But what was provided in there is our revenue to date, and then that was put together by Angie to try to give you a comparison from year to year. And then admissions, information, rates, and concessions, just for your information. But I'll turn it over to Councilmember Covert.
Thank you very much, Greg, for doing that. I appreciate the information that Angie and you and Kelly provided. I requested this the last time we had, the time before last we had the meeting. And the reason why is that we all know that what our numbers are showing and the loss we've been taking. And I have a personal problem of seeing this. Understand, when the pool was first built in 2008, you don't know what's going to happen. And after 5 years, it seems like the trend is that we continue losing thousands of dollars every year for maintenance. And it just, And I did not realize how much of a loss it was until in February of this year when I requested the information, and it just blew my mind away. A little over $1 million that has been lost for the total time. And I know there was, a few years ago, I believe Kelly said that we actually had a vote whether we wanted a swimming pool in our community, yes or no. I think it was maybe a yes or no. I don't, correct me, Kelly, if you wouldn't mind. Do you remember what type of verbiage was using that? Because I'm sure I voted yes too. You know, that I went on, like any. Did we ever have a vote like that, or?
I think we've had anything.
Well,
The original discussion started when I was here for building a pool. We started with Burbach. We switched to a firm that was either out of Kansas City or St. Louis. So we were getting cost estimates looking to construct a pool. I believe the only issue, the main issue at the time was, do you use TIF proceeds? And I believe the city did end up using TIF proceeds, if I'm not mistaken, rather than bond proceeds, or it may have been a TIF geo bond as well. But no, there was no question on the ballot, to my recollection.
well, I appreciate you correcting me on it. So what bothers me is that the continued loss of money, and I don't know, like I said, I wasn't aware of our loss until February this year when we got the information. I don't feel comfortable when you see, I know we make a lot of decisions up here on how money is spent, and sometimes it's a large amount of money on a one-time thing, but this is a reoccurring thing. I don't feel comfortable stating to spend more money on a swimming pool where you're seeing that staggering loss, where money that is needed, let's say for the main, or a sidewalk that could have gone down Agency Street for safety, and actually for students from SCC, the safe, I mean, like even this morning I was going down Agency Street, students were walking on the roadway down going to Walmart. Money that could have been generated more for the public, for all the public, and just instead of just a select few. So I was considering asking, or I'm not considering, but I am asking if there could be some sort of survey or vote and see what the majority, if the majority of our residents still say, hey, we will recognize there's a loss, that's the loss, then we want to keep doing that. I don't have no problem. I feel more comfortable than saying, okay, approve that. But if the majority of the residents say we only want to lose X amount of dollars, then I feel comfortable with that. But I don't feel comfortable saying, let's just spend another $40,000 or this year, and then we're going to be asking on our budget during the budget time, our heads from all of our departments, crunch your numbers, and we're going to ask them to spend money wisely, where I don't feel like I'm not doing that then with the swimming pool. I just don't feel comfortable with that. And the only way I can discuss it, with everybody is at this time. I don't know what everybody else feels like. I know swimming pools are important. I know it's good for it's good public use, but where is that point? I really don't feel comfortable with it right now. I have asked people, like, do you know how much money we're spending on a swimming pool? They say no, and I go, and then they say, wow, that's a lot of money. And then the next question would be like, well, how much money? And most people say they don't realize how they don't really know either themselves how much money should be spent on a community service. They don't have that answer either. None of us really do, I guess. And I just felt like in this situation that maybe we should be asking our residents here that what we should be doing, or what they feel that we should be doing on this particular situation. I do know there is a lot of cities are now doing away with public swimming pools because the cost of the swimming pools have increased over the years, and our young people, the culture's changed. It's not as like when we were younger, or when I was younger, everybody tried to go to the swimming pool. I remember many, many times going to Burlington swimming pool, but that's changed now with the young people I know. Not as many go to the swimming pools after you reach a certain age. And anyhow, that's what I brought this forward and asking. I thought the information we did got from Chris was interesting. It seems like the majority of the people that do attend the swimming pool here are not even West Burlington residents. They're all, most of them are within our county, but most of them appears not to even be from our own city, the majority of it. And I know those statistics that he provided is not 100% accurate, that, you know, you can, but it is sort of a guide that we can go off. It also decides, I guess, also if you decide to continue using a swimming pool, do you really need to market, like paying for advertisements? Because I don't think that's necessary. Social media, you know, everybody knows there's only there's only one swimming pool now besides Hooks Harbor in this area. And I feel that would be truly a waste of money doing advertising and things like that, because social media is different now. You can, it's out there, it's been in our meetings, it's been in the papers, it's been on the radio, and we didn't even have to pay for that advertisement. But yeah, that's why I was asking with your opinions, and if it can even be done. I don't know, Greg.
Well, I provided information earlier. Obviously, a referendum is not allowed under our charter and city. I believe that, Kelly, when you were looking, it was 8 cities in the state of Iowa that have the ability to do that. But you could do a public meeting. You could do
Survey.
a committee. You could do a local survey. You could do one question on that survey related to the pool, or we could maybe perhaps pick 5 key or whatever the number is, questions that you might have for a survey, or maybe we want a more generalized survey in addition to some key questions like was done, I don't know, several years ago. There's also more professional surveys like the National Citizen Survey that digs deeper into your community, and it's a professional program that several communities in the state of Iowa use. It's offered through ICMA and POLCO, P-O-L-C-O. Just type in National Citizen Survey. It's also on the paperwork. So the council really has any number of routes that you can take other than referendum. Or you can't, that includes putting a question on the ballot.
Even a
Non-binding question.
Another reason why I brought it now is because we all know wheels of motion takes a long time sometimes to make decisions. And I thought, well, now if we do it before the budget, and the budget starts in a few months, and we'll have all that time period, if we can look at that and evaluate it, it would be a useful tool.
No, Ringo, I'm with you. I love having our pool, but geez, it's expensive. And I'd like to get good input from our citizens. Is this how you want us to keep spending money? This last year, according to our data, to have it open this season cost us $224,000 to have it open. And we had 8,319 visits to the pool. And if you just divide 224,000, and Angie, do I trust your number? Is that what it cost us? Yeah. This year, a bunch, 131,000 of that was like one-time expenses to just get it going because of problems. Planned expenses unplanned to get it going in June. And if I just take 224,000, divide it by those visits, 8,319, that cost us $27 a visit. So each time, that's what it costs so that person could walk in the door. Now, another way I looked at it is just, if we didn't have those one-off expenses, just operating expenses. The operating expenses are the lifeguards, the chemicals, the telephone service. That's $92,000 for the summer. That was only $92,000 that it cost us after we made some money off concessions. So it's a loss of $92,000. You divide that by the number of visits, and that's only about $11 a visit. So what we can plan, and that's last year, we lost about $92,000 also. And so last year, we spent about $11 we lost $11 a person. And that's okay. If that's what it costs, that's what it costs. But I love to have, and Kathy, you're here tonight, and Hans, and people in the community. If this is where we want to keep spending our money, okay, cool, great. But I guess I want informed input for this. And things I'd like to see is whatever survey we can get out there to get some input. 1, 2, I'd love to put together a citizens committee of, hey guys, sit around a table and let's talk about this. This is what we want, great. If not, where do we go from here? You know, if we don't want a pool, do we want a splash pad? Do we transition to something that makes sense? You know, fishing.
My only concern going to a survey and
Yep.
the committees and stuff is we just did this twice. And I think our highest survey, we got
Yeah.
18 results. So
Yeah.
I want to have these discussions too and find ways to save money
Yep.
or up the revenue side. And there's some good things in here about that since we were closed for the first, almost a third of the season, but yet our numbers were up versus last year. So some of those numbers are promising, but yet we know we're still going to spend a lot of money. And some of those one-time expenses are going to go up as the pool gets older.
Yep.
But on the other hand, do we just shutter it and leave it there, or what do we, So I just don't know that a survey is going to give you much more information than what we got right here, or asking for a couple more opinions, but.
And the survey, I don't know if we can do this, I know you can't put it on the minute, but I know they do surveys for other things outside the polling boxes when people exit. Are you allowed to do that? Because that would capture a larger part of our community. If, like, I'd be more than volunteered to be the one sitting out there. If we're allowed to do that after they exit the poll in November, what would you feel about this? And we, the select questions, whatever we choose. That way we'd have more than 18 people. I'm sure we'd get a response, and we'd have better of a picture of what our community would like to do.
I think, though, if we tailor the survey for just the West Burlington residents, because the other two surveys included Burlington, West Burlington, and Des Moines County from the chamber, and I look at some of that stuff, and, I sometimes I'll answer it and sometimes not. But I think if it's something specific for our community, like what does our community foresee us to do in the next 5 years? We've got great response on the leaf drop-off. That was a big factor. And I think if we figure up some questions that are going to come towards us in the next 3 years, decisions that we'll have to make, I think those kind of questions should be on the survey so we have some idea what they're thinking and where we should be heading. And it's just explicit for West Burlington residents.
If we can do it during the polling place, that certainly would narrow it to West Burlington residents.
Well, I think if you send it out to the water customers. Because there's a large part of the community that are elderly and they don't want nothing to do with a computer. I know about 8 people in my neighborhood that don't like, I'll just do the paper.
Well, we had quite a response when we talked about not being part of the Burlington Library. Hans can remember that being kind of a full council room. So, if we're suggesting we need to discuss this issue, I think you would get people to respond.
And I myself consider the pool an amenity for living here. We contract with the library because it's too costly for us to have a library for our citizens. So we pay a fee to Burlington for all of our citizens to go and get a library card and use the library. The amenity for the pool keeps our kids here, and I'm way back in the olden days, we did charge Burlington 50 cents more to come into our pool than the West Burlington residents, and I just don't feel that's needed. If they like our pool, they'll come to our pool because of the walk-in and the stuff for the handicapped kids. You don't have to come, but they like our pool. I have people bring their kids from Cedar Rapids to our pool because they love our pool. They like what's there.
I know pool's important to the city. Maybe not as important as it used to be, because I know some companies wouldn't move in an area unless they had to certain areas. I don't think that's it, but again, I feel uncomfortable spending that amount of money yearly on it. And that's the only reason why I requested the survey. I would just feel more comfortable if only 18 people took the survey and 15 said, yeah, we agreed to have it. Well, shame on everybody else for not being involved, not taking their time to look at it. If they come in and made a complaint, you had a chance, But now, those people that decide that the majority want to spend that money, then I feel good about that. Then we're doing what they want. This is the only thing that really bothers me. It's just a consistent use of money, of loss of money every year. And then if you add that up, what could that money have done for everybody in the whole community instead of just a select few. You know, like you were talking about SEC, how we can get people wanting to come back. Do you think the students, when they go back and forth, you know, walking in a road, and they go back and they talk about it, you know, how difficult it is to maybe get to walking areas because they don't have cars, that side, and I know we're trying to work on it, but maybe that money could have gone to, I have no idea, I'm just thinking that, but anyhow, that's my suggestion. I don't want to drag it on all night for everybody here. If maybe we can set something up later on, I appreciate it.
Let's look into that to see how many questions we want to put onto something in terms of things that they would like us to spend money on. And specifically, like you say, with just West Burlington.
Your Honor, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to bring anything back to council. I'm wondering if you want to have a work session on this topic and the Mount Pleasant Street property with, and invite Mike and have those two discussion topics and have perhaps a longer discussion on just those two topics. Or if you have something additional that you want provided, we can prepare that for that meeting. Or I'm not really sure exactly what you want me to do at this point.
What I'm hearing is we want to know if we can ask questions outside of the polling place.
I do have that question,
I
yes.
assume that's a distance issue.
Right.
And what would it cost us to send out mailing with the water works? I mean, that'd be the other thing.
And you're email, or like an email thing, or
Well,
physical mailing?
As Therese was saying, that
Okay.
it's, for a lot of our residents, I suspect,
Fair,
email
okay.
might be, but, you know, we want to catch the ones that aren't too.
And we can have some at the desk. Kelly, what firm did we have that did that original survey way back?
On the 2014. I think we worked with regional planning on it, but we handled it in here. Katie and I went through those surveys and put them on a spreadsheet. And
That is further back than 2014.
Was this ahead of the pool being built? Is that what we're talking about?
No, it wasn't about the pool. It was like a several-page booklet survey.
Hans, do you remember?
There was a short survey done in 2007 when we started talking about the new pool, and the community overwhelmingly supported that. And my comments, Ringo, is you go around the state of Iowa and ask all the cities that have a municipal pool, they'll all tell you the same thing. None of them were built to make money. Absolutely none. I mean, it's a public service. It's for our kids. I mean, I have had headaches over that pool myself. And there was times when I just wanted to say, okay, let's just fill it with sand and make a litter box out of it, because the costs were driving up. But on the other hand, this was the first year since that pool was built that I was actually in the water.
Yay. And how was it?
It was nice.
Yeah.
The very first time I was in the pool, but there wasn't any water in it. So, no, I look at it this way. You spend $1 million on a fire truck.
Mm-hmm.
How often do you use it?
Hopefully none.
You spend $30,000 to $50,000 a year buying 2 police vehicles. Yes, they're used, but you've got to constantly purchase new ones. So providing a public service, those are 2 public services, providing a public service to the residents and to the kids in the community, whether they're from Burlington, Minneapolis, Danville, wherever, they're coming to spend time here.
Appreciate your comments, I really do.
Well, I might add, when we built that pool, Hans is right. We knew we weren't going to make money at it. And Hans is right, too, that, expenses are going to go up. And, but the pool itself is in pretty darn good shape. And I think that if you do a survey with with the elderly people that we have, and 50% of them are renters, I don't think we're getting a true judgment on what the city should do with the pool. Because if you went and asked the elderly people that don't have kids in the school, they're saying, well, why am I paying taxes on the school? I don't have nobody in there. It's kind of the same way with the pool. If you don't have nobody using the pool, of course you're not going to want the pool. And we are an elderly town. I think we need to just buckle down and say whether we want the pool or don't want the pool, and is it a commodity to the city? And my answer to that would be yes. Plain simple. It's going to cost us, and it's going to cost us money, and it's going to cost us more money, but it's kind of like having a janitor come to this place and clean it up. Why don't we have our own people clean it? Because it's a service that we don't do. That pool is a service to the city. It's to the area.
Well, no, John, in kind of what you were just saying, I've talked to at least 4 elderly couples that have all said, we want the pool here. We're not going there, but we think it's a good thing for the city.
Yeah.
And occasionally we might have a grandchild that comes here and does that. So.
And you're right. There is people that have grandkids and they want to take their grandkids to the pool.
I hate to agree with you for the second or third time tonight, but I don't need a survey. If Ringo really wants it, okay, but no, I want the pool here, and we need to find ways to continue to improve it and make more, or cut costs on it, and continue to get more people. And I think we've shown the last 4 years that the numbers are going the right way, except for the one-time expenses. And so I don't need it. So
I don't need it either.
I was elected to come up here and make decisions, and to me, I think the people want the pool, and I think it's a good thing to have in our community, so I'm okay with it.
And I think the day that we did have the radio station there for the advertising, I think that was, I enjoyed listening to it on the radio. I was tied up doing other stuff, but it sounded like it was a fun-filled day, and we didn't have any issues or concerns, and I think probably the West Burlington Pool website, Facebook needs to have more information like, hey, we're low on numbers, come see us, or something like that, so that we don't have to close. Because I'm sure that there were enough people that were probably thinking, oh, the weather looks kind of iffy, and they don't want to go pay $5 and then be there half an hour and get escorted out. But it's just like, we need to do better advertising with the pool and letting them know, hey, we're open, today's special is da-da-da.
Well, and this year's numbers would have been better if we would have been open sooner. Okay? Yeah. So, what was it, a third of the season we were out?
Close to it.
Yep.
So if you add a third more into that, we're not losing that much money this year. We did, but there was
and of course, our sales for concessions would have gone up for that also.
Yeah, so.
Dan, did you have something on this particular topic, or?
Caught my attention when Ringo brought it up in the newspaper one time.
Dan, come up here.
Dan, you have to come up to the speaker so we can put you on.
You have to put your name, your address.
You know the routine.
I know, and that was my oversight, so I'll take that hit, so.
Well, he caught my attention on a $70,000 a year average cost loss per year when you totaled it up over from 2008 on. I don't think people realize what kind of bath we're taking on this pool. And I'm not anti-pool, but start charging what it's worth and what it's costing. This thing has cost us, just in the last 4 years, $685,000. We're taking a bath on this pool. That's the West Burlington citizens paying for the difference on that. And one of the questions that I would have is, and I'm on the conservation board also, and we have the same thing. We have to come up with these amenities. They keep talking about these amenities constantly. If people want these amenities, they need to fund the costs. They're not free, but it's West Burlington residents that had to pay for that $685,000. Even the TIF loan, it was us paying those county tax dollars and that type of thing that went back originally to pay for that pool. This is one expensive pool. Don't overthink the survey on the voters. We did that a few years ago on whether or not to take care of the city streets. We're talking decades ago. Do you remember that survey, Teresa?
I think I've been through 3 of them.
Yeah, they're pretty, you can do a randomized, we had a neutral party do that, but they need this information as to what this is costing them. You can randomize an experimental design in that, it was pretty easy to do. You get a voter registration list. I think it was the Kiwanis or Lions that did it at the time. And your randomization was that you roll a dice, 1 through 6. If it comes up 5, every 5th gets surveyed. That's a true randomized. You can get a plus or minus a percentage there if you want. Forgive me, mathematics was my deal. But we did experimental designs and that type of thing. But voters have to have this type of information. I don't want to knock the pool management. I think they did a fairly decent job this year considering how short it was. But if you start looking at these last 4 years, we're having trouble making wages. It's time to either increase the cost. We got into discussion on the radio one time, and they said, well, we had 100 people at the pool yesterday. It's $6 a piece, that's $600. We lost $224,000, almost $224,500 this year. $600 ain't doing it. I'm just saying, if you want to provide the public with the information and voters, but one way you could do it is go through a voter registration list for the city of West Burlington and ask them if they want the pool. And you can randomize it that way. But that's a lot of bucks. So,
It is, I'll agree.
yeah. Yeah, heater replacement, $76,000, pool leak expenses, $36,000, check valve replacement, $19,000, $131,000. And you can't discount that, that's an expense.
Well, and shame on us, because for 6 years, we did not put money aside in for maintenance on the pool.
That would still be our money we're putting aside.
Yeah, for the capital improvement project that we could have been better prepared for. But I think probably some of that repair bill I talked about, maybe taking it out of the hotel motel tax, since it's kind of an attraction for the city. Is there a possibility of taking it out of that fund?
You could. That's certainly an option. Could certainly qualify, although that fund is down. I don't remember. Do you remember off the top of your head, your last spreadsheet, $70,000, $80,000 in fund balance, somewhere around there? So,
Around 80, I think.
so it's certainly not extensive.
So, council, do I hear you wishing a work session to discuss this more and putting together a, no,
I'm sorry,
okay.
Dan, were you done?
Yeah, I just don't overthink the survey. If you want to do that, we can randomize that. We'll give it to a neutral party to do it. Whatever comes up as a random count. And we need to figure out which club did that. Honestly, was the Lions over here. But they were very meticulous. I'll have to look back. It was back when we decided to get the, it was either the street survey on the old part in pea gravel streets and concrete, or the replacing water lines. I can't remember which.
I don't see anybody jumping to have a special session, so, or I mean, a work session, so. We can still possibly do something, but we won't put it together through that, okay. At this point, we've gone through our items on our agenda. Do we have anybody who wants to talk on something for a future agenda, something that we can put on?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make one more comment, and I'll come up there. I'm Strauss, old 215 Broadway. I wasn't planning on coming up, but I was watching the meeting while it was being streamed, and originally I was going to talk about the noise ordinance, but that kind of settled it, whatever you did there on changing a few things around. what piqued my interest to come up was the no votes on helping support the $5,000 for a study. Folks, when you leave West Burlington and you want to go to Quad Cities, what do you drive on? 61 Roosevelt. When you want to go eat at one of those restaurants, what are you going to drive on? Roosevelt. Every citizen in West Burlington does this. So $5,000 to spend on a survey is nothing. If you remember a few years ago, Teresa, maybe John too, the original plans for 61 was to come through on Washington Road next to the sewer plant, next to the Army ammunition plant, to tie in to 61 on the south side. Hopefully, that thing has been burned in the DOT's inbox somewhere, because I was 100% opposed to that. That would have killed Roosevelt.
And the chamber was, and the
Make
chamber
the
was
improvements to
for that.
Roosevelt. We all use it. Every citizen in West Burlington uses it, one way or another. So, you know, voting no on $5,000 when Dan said you spent $250,000 on the pool, that's a drop in the bucket. That's all the comments I got.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hans.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Support.
Motion and support?
Nope.
Oh,
Citizen inquiry.
okay.
I'm here for a rooster in the house. That's what I got in trouble for. I've had him probably for about 6-7 months, and I didn't realize I couldn't have a rooster, and then one of my neighbors called, and
Sir,
got
could
fined
you
for it.
say your name and where you're from, please? Where you live at? Could you say your name again?
Oh, Dan Brogue, and I live at 321 Prairie, West Burlington over here. And I'm related to Dick Brogue. You know Dick. But I got fined for that rooster, so.
Well, I'm sorry, but at this point, if you want something brought up to the council to discuss for a change in ordinance or something like that, you can, but that's something we would put on our next agenda for next Wednesday. And if you're unhappy with something that's been enforced because it is in the council, then I'd recommend you talk to the city manager first, and then go
We
through.
spoke this morning.
Okay.
And Mr. Brogue was informed that he needs to apply for a permit and submit that to the city council, which would be his next step. And that would be to maintain chickens, which you also have on site, as I understand it. However, the ordinance specifically does not allow for roosters. But, so the next step would actually be to submit that application for council review and put that on the agenda. But roosters are simply not allowed under the ordinance.
Don't hit me too hard. I just lost my wife 3 months ago, and I'm having a rough time right now, so I'm trying to get the bills taken care of and everything. I'm having a rough time. I'm still paying for her for $5,000 over the funeral because I didn't have insurance.
Well, if you'll fill out that paperwork for us, it'll come on to the city council's meeting. If you'll fill out the paperwork that you have to do to have the chickens, then it'll come before the city council next Wednesday. So if you do that,
So
then
they
we'll...
told me to be here today, so that's the reason why that guy over here told me that.
Okay.
I thought I was going to get in trouble for it, so.
Thanks.
So I'm not quite understanding. You have chickens, but you want a rooster?
I had some chickens, and I ended up getting a rooster, and I didn't know the rooster was against the law, and I didn't know that.
So,
That's the first time I knew, and the reason why I bought them, because eggs is getting $10
Right.
a dozen.
yeah.
You know, I'm getting them pretty free now.
Yeah, and you can get a rooster
Get rid of
in,
my rooster,
yeah,
and
you can
I'm
get a
done.
rooster in with regular chickens and not know it. I
Right.
know that for a fact.
I didn't know, I didn't know I was gonna get a fine for the rooster,
Yeah,
'cause,
but-
well, I never bought no chickens before.
But the roosters are prohibited.
Yeah, I heard
And-
about it. Officer come over and told me about it.
But there's no permit for the site as well, so that would be the next obvious step, would be submit the permit for, or
For the
request for the
chickens?
chickens.
Yeah.
But don't
Yeah.
hit me so hard, man. I like I said, I lost.
No, that's
my
not a big thing to hit.
hard time right now.
Yeah,
It's all right.
that's
Really
not a
rough.
big thing.
I'm paying her $5,000 over, by the ballpark. Paying $5,000 over that. And I work for the railroad. I retired from the railroad. I about broke me. They took 17 grand out of my check, so after she passed away. And I'm doing pretty rough right now.
Yeah.
Trying to keep my house going. And
We'll talk to you after you get the paperwork in, okay?
It's just one page, yeah.
still don't never be too bad for her, 'cause my gosh, I'm paying enough right now. I'm paying the house payment plus the funeral parlor, and I had to let things go. And then this happened with the rooster. No.
We look forward to seeing you next week after you get the papers in.
Yeah, I'll
Okay?
see you next week.
Okay.
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 Just don't hit me too hard.
We
I got a
won't.
lot of
All right.
hitting right now.
Okay.
So can I go now then?
Yeah,
Yep,
you
yep.
betcha. Thanks.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming and waiting.
I have a motion to adjourn on the floor. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.